Okay, another M14 M1A video from Norwich 93 CMP. All I have here is the rear sight. Basically, they're exactly the same. What I mean on a manufacturing standpoint. But the only difference is what you're going to show you is on the elevation cap. And the M1 Garnad, you can see the graduations. Well, there's 200 here. And if you keep going, there's a 1200 on the opposite side if you're going towards the muzzle. That's for 1200 yards. The difference between that and the M14 is if there's our 200 there, and then we roll back, we see an 11. And right underneath the 11, we have an M. And the M stands for meters. So obviously a different round, different graduations at different points. The stampings on this one are slightly different. Little manufacturing, as far as I know, all the pinions that were made were cut into one piece here, where some of the World War II ones had a notch, you know, for I don't know what purpose, but anyway, some of them will have it. Some of them will be straight, but most of them will have that notch. So that's a difference. The serrations on the pinion are the same to engage into the bottom of the aperture. The length and the threading is exactly the same, so you can interchange theoretically windage knobs for either of the two systems. This cap here on the M1 Garnad just has a marking on the screw, but basically they're the same on this end, and it's done the same way when you're zeroing and then loosening it, putting it on your zero, say 200 or whatever, and then tightening it up after that. Works exactly the same. All right, and just to show you the windage, they're basically the same. Matter of fact, these happen to I didn't even realize that they're both the same manufacturers anyway, but this one is uninstalled M14 and this is a M1 Garnad that's been used, but they're exactly the same. The rear sight bases, though they are the same, sometimes you'll see a part marking, like H&R will have its manufacturer mark and then the part number underneath. Obviously some of them, if it has like a C number, it's made by Springfield Armory, it's usually a gas trap, but you may see a part marking for the M14. The covers, you won't see any difference, no markings at all, and the same thing with the aperture. Usually the ones I always see, they always have the tracks on the outside, or excuse me, on the inside, but the outside of the teeth for the M14s, but the aperture is the same. But I just wanted to go over those differences with you. Some people, you know, on the M1 Garnads will say, hey, mine's not exactly zeroing, and well, because your graduations are different for a different round. Check to see if it's got the M on it. That's it though, just down and dirty. M14 differences, rear sight versus the M1 Garnad. Thanks.